Yep. Logano wins. That's great. That's fucking great. We needed to see that again. There was no reason for us to see that again. That did not need to happen. I mean, definitely after waiting 27 extra hours to see it. So, did not need to happen. Did not need to see Logano win that race. But, I mean, it was weird. So, we didn't see much. The stage endings were great. I mean, the first stage end, my fantasy picks for the first stage, and the pole were correct. I picked Logano to win the pole and the first stage. I predicted Keselowski to win the second stage and the win. But Logano won the first stage. That was actually a pretty good finish for the stage end. And then stage 2, which was Austin Dillon and Kevin Harvick. Austin Dillon won that stage, and that was a great stage end. So, thoroughly impressed by the stage endings. And then we saw the 51. He had his issues right after, like, they went back green for the second, or for the final stage, I think. Or no, it was for the second stage, right? Yeah, it was for the second stage, coming to the second stage. And then they ran a few laps, and then the caution came out for the 51. He hit the wall, so that's not good. And then in the final stage, we saw Boyer, or it was either in the second stage or the final stage, we saw Boyer. Oh shit! Boyer spun around, and he hit the wall. And I think somebody else was involved in that. I don't know, but and then we saw who else? Oh, Austin Dillon crashed, which sucked because he was having a good run. He won, obviously, like I said, he won the second stage, and then he was running up front, so he was actually doing, really well. And then it sucked to see him hit the wall, but his day he didn't DNF, but it was pretty much over after that. So that's unfortunate. Third straight week for Austin Dillon having issues. Charlotte, he wrecked. Last week at Pocono, he wrecked, and then today he wrecked. So it sucks. It's unfortunate, but it's just how it is. It's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you have bad stretches. I mean, Kyle Busch's June 2012 stretch, that was probably the worst month of my life. August 2014, that was just a fucking terrible month. I mean, those 2 months stand out to me as like the worst months for my NASCAR, or to be a Kyle Busch fan. Those 2 months really stick out to me as just 2 terrible months. So yeah. But yeah, the finish was good. I mean, it just didn't really end up how I wanted it to. They were like coming with like 10 to go. It looked like Logano just had this thing in the bag. I didn't think anybody was going to catch up to him, and then they did. Truex and Curtis were catching up to him, and I was like, this is going to be good. Anyway. And then Eric Jones just did his thing. He spun around into the grass with like 4 to go. And it was crazy how they were trying not to pull a caution. Like, even though they were obviously going to have to pull a caution, as a car was sitting in the middle of the grass backwards. Like, they still tried not to pull a caution. The only reason I think they did was because of, like, it was all sticky and wet because of the rain. So, the fact that they would not have called a caution if it wasn't like that is kind of ridiculous, but, whatever. But then they had the restart, the overtime restart, which my dad said he didn't like. He doesn't like the idea of late race or overtime restarts, which I don't necessarily understand. He said that he doesn't like that it all comes down to like a final 2 laps, or like the final few laps at the end. I farted. Which I think is like the most fun part. He says that if there should be an overtime, he says that he thinks it should be like 15 laps, which I can kind of see, but Yeah, I like the 2-lap like shootouts. I think it's fun. It's always fun. It's always fun. But anyway, the race, honestly, it was better than last year. Even though last year's race, I didn't think last year's race was all that terrible. I thought, like, I always think the rain shortened races are kind of fun, just cause like the intensity of like, oh, when's it gonna happen? Besides Auto Club 2012, that race is just awful. But I usually find the rain shortened races to be like exciting, kind of. And last year's race I thought was kind of cool, but today's race, honestly, I don't know. What should I rate it? It was better than last year, though. Honestly, it was better than last year. I'll give it a 7.3 out of 10. That seems fair. That seems like a fair rating for this race. 7.3 out of 10. Definitely better than Pocono. Better than last year. Better than both races last year. And Monday night, I like it. Monday evening. It was 5 p.m. Monday. I almost didn't think I was going to be able to watch the race because the power went out at my house. And it said it wasn't supposed to come on until 5. We checked the national grid. And it said it wasn't supposed to come back on until 5. So I just went to my friend's house. It was out there too. And then shortly after I got to my friend's house, his power turned back on. And my dad texted me saying the power came back on there at here. I had Chick-fil-A for dinner, which I usually wouldn't tell you guys, but you don't usually get to watch NASCAR and eat Chick-fil-A at the same time because NASCAR usually happens on Sunday and Chick-fil-A is usually closed on Sunday. So Monday racing, you get to eat Chick-fil-A while watching NASCAR. That should become a new tradition of mine. Whenever NASCAR is not racing on a Sunday, for whatever reason, whether it's because of a night race, which happens on a Saturday night usually, or if it happens on a Monday, then get Chick-fil-A. That should be a new tradition of mine. Yeah. So 7.3 out of 10. It was just fun to watch NASCAR on a Monday evening. I found that enjoyable. Even though my TV was doing stupid shit. But yeah. Xfinity race, I thought that was... I didn't really see much of it. I saw the last 30 laps, and it was supposed to be a fuel mileage race, but then it wasn't. I hate it when they hype it up to be like that, but then it's not. They always... Fuel mileage races don't happen anymore. Like, when was the last fuel mileage race? Like... It was kind of last year at Watkins Glen. It always happens at Watkins Glen. But not even actually. It kind of happens at Watkins Glen. Like, what was the actual last fuel mileage race? I think it was 2015 Pocono. Like, that's a long time. I like the fuel mileage races. Like when... And I'm not talking fuel mileage races where you're thinking fuel and everything. I'm talking about fuel mileage races where drivers are running out with the last few laps. Where the leaders are running out of gas in the last few laps and some person takes the lead and they win the race. If multiple guys run out, multiple different leaders run out, that's fucking even better. So, yeah. They hyped it up to be a fuel mileage race, but it didn't. It never does happen that way. So, that's kind of... I don't think that would... I think that would happen less. Or I think it would happen more fuel mileage races if there wasn't the stages. So, yeah. I guess it don't really happen that often. Even before the stages. Because, I think the last time, the last real memorable one before 2015 Pocono was 2011 Chicago. I think that was, the last really memorable one. I'm not sure. But I like them. I like them a lot. But yeah, from what I saw from the Xfinity race, I hear it was a good race, but I don't really know. because I only watched the last 30 laps, but I'll give it a 6.1. I mean, it really wasn't much of anything. I could have gone without seeing that race. IndyCar race, I didn't watch it, but usually I do. I usually do watch the Texas IndyCar race. I did the last 2 years, but I didn't in New Garden one, and he's my favorite, so that sucks. Yeah. So, truck race, that was fucking amazing. The truck race is fucking insane. I did a watch with Sam race, which is a new thing that I'll be doing sometimes. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I still need to do that. So yeah. But that race was insane. Dude, that race had like 15 cautions. Like the longest green flag run before like 50 to go was like 11 laps, and that was the first 11 laps of the race. So it was insane, brutally fucking amazing. That race is pretty cool. I'll give that race 8.6 out of 10. It was a good race. And Greg Biffle won. That shit was insane. That means like a lot. Like when I heard that they were announcing that, I was like, oh, it'd be cool if he wins. He probably will. But then he did, and I was like, oh fuck, he actually did. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a good race. I think since I didn't do the Rays series review, just because I didn't watch most of those games like to its entirety. Like I think I watched all 4 of them, but like I didn't watch any of them in its entirety. So, but since I didn't do the review for that, I think it's important for me to mention that David Ortiz got shot last night. I mean, I think that's really important to mention. If you guys don't know who that is, Big Papi, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. He brought 3 championships back to the great city of Boston. So, I mean, obviously we are grateful for him because he did so much for that city. And he got shot last night at a bar in the Dominican Republic. And the dude who shot him got the fucking shit beat out of him. That was pretty cool to see. But, yeah, he's in stable condition right now. He's being flown back to Boston. But it's just sad to see that such a great man who has nothing but just love in his heart, and is just one of the greatest baseball players of all time, to see him do that, to see him have that happen to him, it's sad. He has some organs, some shit happened with his organs, but yeah. So, obviously, I'm pretty torn up over that. It's been a pretty rough day. So, yeah. But we love him. All of us. Everyone. So, it's sad. But, yeah. With that note, goodbye, guys.